When you're standing in the aisle staring at a row of portable sewing machines, the first question that pops into your head is usually, will this actually do what I need without turning into a garage-sized disappointment? I get that hesitation. You've probably seen a few flashy ads promising a compact powerhouse, but you also know the pain of buying something that looks great on paper and then sitting on a table gathering dust because it can't handle the fabrics you really care about. I'm going to walk through the real-world experience of the JUKI Haruka TL18QVP, pointing out where it delivers, where it falls short, and how to decide if it's worth your counter space and money. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First, let's talk about what the portable sewing machine market looks like today. Most entry-level models are built for light stitching, simple hems, quick repairs, maybe a beginner's foray into quilting. The trade-off is usually a low stitch count per minute, limited stitch variety, and a light that's either too dim or non-adjustable. On the other end of the spectrum you have industrial machines that can handle thick denim or leather, but they're heavy, noisy, and meant to be bolted to a workbench. The sweet spot for a serious hobbyist is a unit that feels sturdy enough for medium-weight projects yet still fits on a kitchen table or a small studio desk. That's the niche JUKI is aiming for with the Haruka TL18QVP, and it's worth looking at how the design choices line up with everyday needs. What makes the Haruka stand out is that it borrows the same feed mechanism you'd find in JUKI's industrial line. In practice, that means the needle plunges with a smooth, consistent force that doesn't chatter when you're sewing layers of fleece or a pair of denim jeans. I tried a quick repair on a pair of worn jeans, and the machine kept the fabric feeding evenly without any bunching at the seam, a common frustration with cheaper portables. The speed slider is another practical perk. You can dial it down to a gentle 200 stitches per minute when you're doing delicate lace, then crank it up to 1500 SPM for a fast straight stitch on canvas. The ability to adjust the needle area light brightness on the fly is subtle but handy when you move from a well-lit kitchen to a dimmer craft room. I didn't have to keep pausing to fumble with a separate lamp. A quick thumb turn gave me the exact illumination I needed for a clean seam. Free motion quilting and embroidery are where the Haruka's feed dog lever shines. By lowering the feed dogs, you can lift the fabric manually and guide it under the needle for creative stitch patterns. I set up a simple free motion patch on a quilt top, and the machine responded instantly to my hand movements without any lag. The separate attachment mounting plate also makes it easy to bolt on a small quilting guide or a thread tension monitor without having to drill into the machine's chassis. For someone who likes to experiment with different accessories, that modularity saves a lot of hassle compared with models that lock you into a single set of add-ons. That said, the Haruka isn't without its compromises. At 25 pounds, it's definitely on the heavier side of portable. You can lift it onto a table, but moving it from one room to another or taking it to a friend's house will feel more like relocating a small appliance than a handheld gadget. The dimensions about 25 by 18 by 14 inches mean you'll need a decent surface area. A cramped apartment desk might feel cramped, especially when you're trying to maneuver fabric for free motion work. Another point to consider is the learning curve. The industrial-grade feed mechanism is powerful, but it also reacts more sensitively to tension settings. If you're a complete beginner, you'll spend a bit of time dialing in the right tension for different fabrics before the stitches look smooth. Finally, while the machine comes with a basic set of presser feet, it doesn't include some of the specialty feet that quilting enthusiasts often want, like a walking foot or a quilting ruler foot, so you'll need to purchase those separately. So, who should actually consider adding the Haruka to their sewing space? If you're a hobbyist who has outgrown basic home sewing machines, someone who repairs clothing regularly, dabbles in medium-weight quilting, or wants to try free motion stitching without stepping up to a full-size industrial unit, this machine hits a sweet spot. It also appeals to small business owners who need a reliable workhorse for occasional garment production but can't justify a floor-standing industrial model. On the flip side, if you're looking for a truly lightweight travel companion for occasional buttonhole fixes, or if you're a total beginner who just wants to stitch a few simple hems, you'll probably find the weight and the need for tension tweaking a bit overkill. In that case, a lighter, more entry-level machine would give you a smoother start. Overall, The JUKI Haruka TL18QVP delivers on the